Right, so today we are doing history on the modern WWE World Heavyweight Championship first. Then we'll go into the older version, not WCW one just yet. I might do that in a separate video because it is a separate company. But these two are two different ones, but I'm putting them together just because this modern one doesn't have the history of the older one. So we're going to start with that one first, then I'll get into the older one. Hopefully I don't have any interruptions because the last one I did have a couple when I was trying to record it. But yeah. So the title is distinct from the WWE's previous World Heavyweight Championship. That was contested from 2002 to 2013 when it was unified into the WWE Championship. Although the two titles share the same name, they do not have the same lineage. So this is the fourth overall Men's World Championship to be created by WWE after the WWE Championship, the previous World Heavyweight Championship, and the Universal Championship. So on April of 24th, 2023, on Monday Night Raw, Paul Levesque, or Triple H as people know, announced a draft in 2023, and then a process to assign performers to a brand. He does address Roman Reigns, who was the undisputed world Universal Championship, and since WrestleMania 38, Reigns had held and defended the Federation's World Championships, WWE Championship and the WWE Universal on both brands, but on the terms of his contract, Reigns did not defend enough times. So Levesque had decided that Reigns was going to be exclusive to one brand and that a new World Championship would be defended on the other. So this was also revealed to be an inaugural championship champion. An inaugural champion would be decided at Night Champion. So what they did was so during the night of the first draft, that one of the draft, Reigns was drafted to SmackDown. This was making the World Heavyweight Championship to Raw, and on Backlash, Triple H during a press conference announced a tournament titled including wrestlers from both brands. So the first round and semi-finals for each bracket was scheduled for the May 8th and May 12th episodes of each brand. And the first round of matches for each episode consisted of two triple threat matches, and then the winners of those matches would go to the semi-finals and the single match of the same night, and then whoever won those would go to Night of Champions. But according to Dave Meltzer, the reason SmackDown wrestlers were included was just so they could go against the NBA playoffs and keep their viewership up. So the participants for the World Heavyweight Championship tournament were revealed on the May 7th on WWE's YouTube channel. So these were Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura and The Miz from Raw, AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, Edge and Rey Mysterio, and Sheamus from SmackDown. So on Raw, Rollins defeated Nakamura and Priest in the first triple threat match, while Balor defeated Miz and Rhodes in the second. Rollins defeated Balor, and then to win the Raw bracket, and then on SmackDown, Styles defeated Edge and Mysterio, and then Lashley defeated Sheamus and Theory, and the Styles won against Lashley. This setting up the tournament final between Rollins and Styles at the Night of Champions. Rollins defeated Styles to become the first ever World Heavyweight Champion of the newer version 1. And then the title was defended the first time on June 5th episode of Raw. And then night 1 of SummerSlam, CM Punk defeated Gunther to win the World Heavyweight Championship. So in the process, Punk has become the first wrestler to win the current and previous World Heavyweight Championships, because he did win it. Didn't win the big gold belt. I think it was about 2009, 2010-ish, maybe 2008. About that time, you think he first ever won it. And then he obviously made a lot of people know that he won the WWE one, but I think his first ever big championship was 2009, I think. So, I'm going to get into the designs. The World Heavyweight Championship belt has been designed to pay homage to the historic big gold belt, which was used for the WWE's previous World Heavyweight Championship, as well as the WCW World Heavyweight Championship before that. So it also features tributes to the previous designs of the company's original World Championship and the WWE Championship. So yeah, it just kind of look like very similar in the design of the gold. Because I think if you see my cursor, you can kind of see all this bit here that looks very similar to the one on the other one. I don't know if I'll be able to get that one up. But I will see if I can get that. I'm just going to search it up. Give it a minute. Right, so yeah, so you can see that the gold on this one and the new one are very similar. So that's where they get that from. So then, like in the big gold belt, the title has 3 large gold plates on a black leather strap. Yeah, so you probably see that this 1, 2, 3, and then on the newer versions, it's very similar. So then it has the WWE logo over the globe, and then it has customizable side plates, which was introduced on the 2013-2014 one. But yeah, I think okay, let's get the newer version up again. Mainly because I don't want to keep in the old one yet. So get on. There we go. Right, so the creation of the World Heavyweight Championship was met with mixed reception, just like some of the idea of the title, feeling that it was given new opportunities for several wrestlers, but the others were critical. So a segment of the fan base disappointed that it did not continue to title holder lineage from the previous World Heavyweight Championship defended from 2002 to 2013. Felt that since Roman Reigns was not the inaugural tournament, it would have made the World Heavyweight Championship seem less like a secondary title to his undisputed WWE Universal Championship. So former WWE and ECW wrestler Tommy Dreamer opinioned that his title creation felt like consolation prize, saying it gave the impression no one could beat Reigns. But nonetheless, he praised the design of the belt. Hall of Famer Booker T stated that he did not think it felt like a second title or a consolation prize, but agreeing with the sentiment that it could provide new opportunities. But I do think it, for me, it is a bit weird that they didn't continue with it because it's just a completely new championship. I get it with the Universal Championship was a new idea. But this just seems like they're using the same name. And I get that it got put in with the WWE one. So the lineage is the same, but I mean, it's got the same name. You could have just, and it looks very similar. You could have just added the lineage and just said it was, because like the women's championship, they went Raw, SmackDown, 2 different ones, and then they went back to the women's. But the lineage, I'm pretty sure if you use the same name, it's fine if you want it to be separate, but it looks too similar to the old one in some ways. So you could have just used the same lineage. Can't say that word for some reason today. But yeah, it would have been better. So there hasn't been many reigns either of this belt. So I think you've had 9 reigns altogether. If you don't count the vacant, a lot of people make fun about the vacant being the most decorated superstar. But Seth Rollins the first ever champion, then Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Gunther, Jey Uso, then Gunther again, and then CM Punk, and then Seth Rollins again, and then CM Punk. So let's see. So the Seth Rollins did it 2 times for about 394 days, and then Gunther had it for 311 of both reigns combined. Damian Priest had it 118, Jey Uso 51 days, CM Punk over his 2 reigns, about 8 days, but that will continue to grow because he is still the current championship recording, and Drew Mack had it less than a day. So, but this is why, because this is going to be quite short. That's why I'm going to add the championship into this because it's make it a bit longer. So yeah, I'm going to get into that one. So yeah, I'm going to add the World Heavyweight Championship mainly because the old one, mainly because it's got the same name, so I don't want to like people to get confused that I'm not doing that one and it's the new one, but I'm gonna put it in anyway. Mainly because let me just search on world. I think putting them together, but making them separate, like making sure people know that it's definitely separate from the one I'm about to do helps. So yeah, fucking right. So we're going to get into the older one now, the one from 2002 to 2013. Right, so now I'm going to add on to the World Heavyweight Championship, WWE's World Heavyweight Championship from 2002 to 2013 version. It is basically the same belt as WCW, but that's going to be like, I think, probably add into this, I'm not sure. Yeah, so it was established in September of 2002. Its creation came as a result of WWE's Undisputed Championship becoming exclusive to SmackDown brand, which left Raw without a world title due to the introduction of the brand split. Raw then created a World Heavyweight Championship, and the title was awarded to Triple H. Titles moved between brands on different occasions, usually a result of a draft, until August 29, 2011, when All Pro began full roster of super shows. The World Heavyweight Championships were retired at TLC on December 15, 2013, when it became unified with the WWE Championship, with Randy Orton recognised as the final champion. The title was one of 5 represented by the historic Big Gold Belt introduced in 1986, and its heritage can be traced back to the first World Heavyweight Championship, thereby giving it the belt legacy over 100 years old, the oldest in the world. So the title's origins lay in the first World Heavyweight Championship and then 2 events that began the NWA, which had many different territorial promotions as members. In the late 80s, WCW was a member of the NWA, having been formed by the purchase of GCP, which had absorbed many of the other NWA members by by Turner Broadcasting, which aired WCW's programming during this time. WCW used the NWA World Heavyweight Championship as its world title. The WCW World Heavyweight Championship was soon established when the recognition was awarded to the NWA World Heavyweight Champion Ric Flair in 91, and in 93 WCW succeeded from the NWA and grew to become the rival promotion of the WWF itself, a former member of the NWA. So then both organisations grew into mainstream prominence and were eventually involved in a television rating war. This was dubbed the Monday Night War. Near the end of the ratings war, WCW began financial decline, which culminated in March 2001 with the WWF's purchase selected assets of WCW. As a result of the purchase, the WWF acquired the video library of WCW, select talent contracts, and championships, among other assets. The slew of former WCW talent joining WWF roster became the Invasion, that effectively phased out the WCW name, and following this, WCW World Heavyweight Championship was unified with the WWF Championship, the WWF World title, at Vengeance in December. At the event, WCW World Heavyweight Champion was decommissioned with Chris Cherry become the final WCW World Heavyweight Champion and the subsequent Undisputed WWF Champion after defeating The Rock and Steve Austin, respectively. The WWF title became Undisputed Championship in professional wrestling until 2002, with the creation of the World Heavyweight Champion. The spun off from the Undisputed WWE Championship as the successor of the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. So by 2002, WWE's roster had doubled due to the overabundance of contracted workers, and as a result of the increase, WWE divided the roster through its two main television programs, Raw and SmackDown, assigning championships and appointing figureheads to each brand of the same name. This expansion became known as a brand extension, and in May 2002, the WWF became WWE. Following these changes, the Undisputed WWE Championship renamed unaffiliated with either brand, as competitors from both brands would challenge the Undisputed Champion. Following the appointment of Eric Bischoff and Stephanie McMahon, general managers of Raw and SmackDown, Stephanie contracted then WWE Undisputed Champion Brock Lesnar to SmackDown brand, leaving the Raw brand without a world title. And on September 2nd, Eric Bischoff announced the World Heavyweight Championship being created. Bischoff awarded the title to Triple H, who has been designated number one contender to Lesnar's title the previous week. Immediately afterwards, the Undisputed Championship returned to being WWE Championship, as it was no longer undisputed, and the World Heavyweight Championship and the WC Championship switched brands a number of times for the first split ended. So yes, the historical lineage. So the World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship, original 1905 to 1957, reigns partially merged with NWA's World Heavyweight Championship 1948 to present. And then you got the WWF World Heavyweight Championship and the WWF Championship except 1963 2001. And then this is when it's like the splinter titles, and there's the AWA World Heavyweight Championship, and then the WCW World Wrestling Championship. Then that was renamed after the purchase. And then the WWF World Heavyweight Championship was renamed after the unification. Then there's the WCW Championship unified with the undisputed WWF Championship, and then that was also renamed to the WWE World Championship 2002-22. And then you got the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, but was renamed, and then that became the WWE Universal Championship that was retired in 24. But it was retired in 25 actually, wasn't it? And then obviously you had the WWE Championship with the World Championship in 2013. So yeah, it's got a very long it's got a very long history. So while introduced in 2002 as a new title, the WWE often made allusions to other titles, including the WCW, the NWA, and the history of the championships, with the history that it represents. As affirmed by WWE, the World Heavyweight Championship is not a continuation of the WCW Championship, but rather a successor by the way of WWE's Undisputed Championship, just as the WCW Championship was spun off of the NWA Heavyweight Championship due to its relation of both titles. Its lineage is connected to the earliest recognised World Heavyweight Championship, and in 2009 WWE released a DVD so it's called The History of the World Heavyweight Championship, but that definitely linked the title to WCW and NWA. So the title unification. Following the end of the first brand extension in 2011, both the World Heavyweight Champion and the WWE Champion could appear on both Raw and SmackDown. In 2013, on Night 5 series, then World Heavyweight Champion John Cena made a challenge to then WWE Champion Randy Orton to determine the undisputed WWE World Champion. Randy Orton defeated John Cena at the TLC match and at the TLC pay-per-view on December 15th, 2013. To unify the titles, the WWE Championship was renamed WWE World Heavyweight Championship. The unified champion retained the lineage of the WWE Championship, and the World Heavyweight Championship was retired. With his victory over John Cena, Randy Orton became the final World Heavyweight Champion. Like with the Undisputed Championship, the big gold belt was used in tandem with the WWE Championship to represent the World Heavyweight Championship. The WWE World Heavyweight Championship, sorry, until a single belt was presented to Brock Lesnar in 2014. So this then becomes so there was a subsequent championship on April. So this goes into the new one, which I've already spoke about in the first part of this video, so I won't get into that. But yeah, this one's got a bit more history, as you could tell. So yeah, we're going to get into the reigns. There's quite a lot of reigns. I'm just going to go into like a short thing about the reigns of this. So the first ever champion of this one was Triple H. There were 25 different champions overall. Longest championship reign was Batista, and that was his first reign, which lasted from April 3rd, 2005 to January 10th, 2006, for a total of 282 days. Triple H holds the record for the longest combined reigns at 616 days over 5 reigns. And the shortest reigning champion was Randy Orton in his 4th and final reign, who immediately retired the championship upon winning it. He was also the youngest champion when he won the title for the first time at the age of 24 years old and 130 days during SummerSlam in August. The oldest champion was The Undertaker, who won for the third and final time at the age of 44. And then in October of 2009, Edge held the most times with 7 championships between 2007 and 2011. There were 6 vacancies throughout the title's history. Randy Orton was the final champion in his 4th reign, defeated John Cena, and then that's when he unified the championships. So obviously the WCW, this one, not the WCW because that's a totally different, entirely different concept of the same belt. But yeah, the reason why I put it together because it was going to be a short video. If I didn't, and they have all the same name, but they are different concepts of the same thing. And a bit like the WCW is the same physical belt, but a different concept. Just like the NWA is the same belt but different concept. But yeah, that's all I've got really. But I'm sorry for like it not being recent. Like I'm not recent. Uploaded it quicker, but I've been really busy with work. So, but yeah, I hope you like it. I'm trying to get better at it. Obviously my Instagram isn't getting much views. My TikTok's getting a few. But I'm trying to get much out as possible. But then again, I've been really busy. But yeah, thank you.